Hey guys, welcome back to the Divergent universe. Today I'll be reading Preservation. The first story for Preservation is called Architect Scribe. You catch the scent of book pages made of flowers in Alpani Neverworld. That's your mother citing one of Adrian's fables to you. The architects lifted their silver shields high to defend the land, crushing the sins of the flames of antimatter. But where have they gone? A flower blossoms deep in your brain, wherein you traverse the desolate city of Trodar. Brave through the trenches in Sibilch and climb the ruins of the war. In Alpani they are in full bloom, nourished by forgetfulness. You pick up a blood-stained medal and record a stranger's name. The perished warriors are engraved in stones and their shattered armor is sent back to their faraway homeland by boat. Then you move on to the next world, following the footsteps of the architects to uncover another legend. So this person seems to be following after the people called the Architects, which seems to be further down in the list, to try and record everything that happened, everything that they created. Unsinkable. You had a beautiful dream in which you and your friends raised your glasses under three suns, toasting to the great peace. The dome hovering in the sky envelops the planet, shielding it from intense light and heat. It is the masterpiece you designed, and you witness with your own eyes how it crumbles at daybreak. Collapse, screams, bursts of gamma rays from the supernova. Your eyes, hands, and every cell in your body wail in agony. The villains set the atmosphere on fire, reducing the tower that has stood for 290 amber eras to ashes. Deadly microbes are dancing in the icy crystals of Ring of Shmia, and you vow to take them suffer tenfold. You sketch the outline of the colossal ship that has ignited the galaxy. The bombs incinerate all viciousness under the night sky. Before everything you cherish turns to ruins, you inflict the necessary devastation upon your enemy. So, Unsinkable, it seems to be about a planet that had this dome around it to protect it against the supernova and anything bad from the outside, but it seems it got shattered, so I don't think it's as unsinkable. Or are they talking about the colossal ship that ignited the galaxy that was unsinkable? The next story is Dreamweaver. With a single clap of your hands, skyscrapers spring forth, towering to shelter the world. In the blink of an eye, birds take flight amidst the winds, and flowers burst into bloom upon their trees. You knead the beautiful dream in your hand, molding it like Play-Doh as it starts to metamorphose effortlessly, until the waves of imagination crash upon the shore and time halts, capturing the narrative in its most captivating frame. In this instant, startling dreams and memes are banished, while peace and tranquility hold their place forevermore. In this instant, the 12 hours shimmer in the night sky, while the vibrant festival illuminates the darkness with revelry that lasts till dawn. You've created a world brimming with life, which prospers in joy and safeguards the smiles within people's dreams. The stars serenade, and a soft rainfall ensues. There you stand amidst the melody, without an umbrella, basking in the ethereal violet hue of the morning glow. Dreamweaver sounds actually kinda nice, where he creates joy and things like happiness, smiles. The next story is the Pathless. This is yet another tragic calamity. The vessel is torn apart, probably after encountering detestable pirates or bumping into a swarm looking for food. Dead bodies are floating in a vacuum, like goldfish in the water. For some reason you think of the eccentric Britadans, who believe that souls belong to the land and those who die in a vacuum will be forever lost. You clean their bodies and stitch up their wounds, salvaging their last shred of dignity. The dead of the unnamed is sprinkled into the sky. While their bodies begin their descent towards land, they burn in the atmosphere, transforming into shooting stars that carry wishes. For those with names, their departures start from silence, yet the mourning is unceasing. You are uncertain as to which category these bodies belong, but you wish you could hear the weeping. I don't understand why this is called the Pathless. Are they talking about the dead bodies, or are they talking about the person who tries and at least keep the people that died from, fixing their wounds, cleaning the bodies like you would for somebody who's going to be, buried and is going to be seen by their family for one more time? Through the dome of the ecosystem. The next story, Ecological Administration. Through the dome of the ecosystem, you have an unobstructed view of the lush interior of the cabin. Tens of millions of residents come from lost worlds and obtain the safe haven they could only dream of. The space station, hovering high above the outer orbits of Astro 2, graciously opens its arms to those with tears of grief. You wave your arm and let it drizzle. When new shoots start growing, you awaken to sunlight. Insignificant humans harness the magnificent power of nature in an insignificant world, not for destruction, but to protect the vulnerable creatures in the world. You pick a fiery red fruit from the forests you have watered yourself. It tastes so sweet that even the fruit farmers would drool at the sight. People sing and dance, throwing you high in the air in celebration of the first bumper harvest. The Ecological Administrator sounds like somebody who wants to help people, rebuild after a calamity. So far, everything from the preservation list seems to be about protecting life, dignity, happiness. The next one is City Restorer. You lean against the window of the ship, with a desolate world in despair beneath you. The fires of war have utterly ravaged its lands, the penetrative destruction of the antimatter bomb even boring a gaping maw over the plains itself, crushing the undercity in its wake. The people's heads lifted, their gazes strained on you. Those are eyes you are unflinchingly familiar with, devoid of hope and sadness, with hollowed sockets that even eventually lost even the will to feel anger. But you do not despair. Even if the eternal night annihilated 100 amber eras of the Guardian Republic, you would sift through the earth for silvery vestiges of the past, all just to dig up its tapestries of history. Even more so for present-day Halover, as long as its people survived, 10,000 decimations could not prevent the sprouting of civilization from blossoming once more. You will walk towards those numbed faces, rebuilding their walls for them, and restore civilization one tile at a time, one brick at a time. This one has an extrapolation rewind. Children hold onto your hand, beaming out from under muddy faces as they point to a patch of scorched earth, where once stood Halover's most beautiful gardens, and where countless butterflies swarm only to be hunted by swooping hawks. The birds keep flying up, higher and higher, to the very top of the Alort's library, where the silver discs tilt and birds chatter flutterless through the air. You silently commit these words to memory, creating a mind map of old Halover. Rebuild the garden, rebuild the library, or rebuild the world. I'd go for the world first. You don't plan on giving anything up. Architecture can carry people's happy memories with it, and you are bound to see them recreate in your plan. Your records, words, and designs are all slowly coming together, and starships from all over the galaxy trickle through to you alongside rescue teams. The lofty towers soar higher than before, beneath which gables shall never see the scourge of homelessness. The potholes have all been filled, and a sense of apprehensiveness finally departs from those tormented eyes. You feel happy or you feel sorry. I feel sorry. There are still lots of places waiting for you to revitalize. The elderly hand over their precious photos to you, trembling as the scholars integrate the surviving data. Halover will become a brand new city, but it'll still keep those little bits that people cherish most. Because you're the best urban restoration specialist there is, you won't leave any smile behind. For protection, for remembrance, or for smiles. Let's go for remembrance. This garden has been burned to a smoldering crisp. You stand there like a composer, gradually piecing together the future of the city. The City Restorer sounds like the Ecological Administrator kind of, where he tries and rebuilds everything. The next story is The Architects. It was mentioned in the first one that the architect Scribe was trying to follow the architects throughout the galaxy. I do not have the extrapolation rewind unlocked, but I do have it open on the wiki, so I'll read it from there for you. The Architects. When distant worlds fade away amidst the howls of destruction, the people of Baveli 3 would have never once fathomed that the ray storm heralding death and destruction would penetrate the magnetic field's protective measures, stripping their flesh from their bones. You lean against the window aboard the interstellar rescue ship, witnessing your homeland with your brethren rotting away, now a horrific hellhole. Even if you managed to flee in time, you'd have to sustain your health with genetic reconstruction medication for the rest of your life. The Reaper is a madman, knocking on the gates of every civilization without warning or notice. You finally understand the meaning of the wall-building journey of that foolish god. To survive, one must prepare for a rainy day. Your world may be dead, but there are many more who still hold the right to live. You will build high walls for them, with their towering shadows interwoven into mountains that will blanket the sky, like the embracing arms of their mothers and fathers that will protect them from rain and snow, storm and frost. The extrapolation rewind goes as follows. The underground alarms are ringing in the Resplendence, the highest level threat looming. Locked and loaded, the Annihilation Gang has assembled thousands of warships and is ready to peel open this fruit of preservation, eat its flesh and bone, while grinding its seeds to dust. The high walls of the architects can finally demonstrate their role under close scrutiny. People praise you for your vision, but you can't help but feel a shred of loneliness deep inside. You, the builder of this fortress, are also the one who least wishes to see it put into action. In the blink of an eye, fierce artillery rains down on the barrier protecting the planet. Fight back or stay your ground are the two choices you get. A deafening roar was accompanied by violent tremors, signifying that the first line of defenses had been breached. The shield covering the sky shattered under the withering attack, showering voluminous shards onto the second protective barrier. No longer under the Sky Dome's protection, the densely packed weaponry on the second protective barrier unleashed 3 bursts of firepower on the enemy ships. Attack is the best defense, even the architects know that much. The two choices you get are rush to the front line or command from the rear. For the first time ever, you've truly experienced the anxiety of slowing right down to bullet time as the battle rages day and night atop the vaulting walls of Resplendence. A group of architects rushed up, and when the wall collapses, even more people flood the gap to become a part of the wall's foundation. The attacks of the Annihilation Gang grow ever fierce, but you know they have hardly anything left to give and have been forced to go all in on this desperate battle for survival. The sun's coming up is the only choice you get. With the Sky Dome no longer up, Resplendence gazes down on the land once more. You dream of Baveli 3, those fallen smiling as they say goodbye beneath the amber glow. The architects seem to be the people that build the barriers around the planets, but it also seems like the Annihilation Gang seems to be following them through everywhere and actually being happy to be able to peel open the shields that the architects are building to save people from them. But maybe the architects going to a specific place to build those shields is exactly why the Annihilation Gang goes for those shields. Planetary Purifier. On natural day number 10,238, the Cuvida Nebula's pollution has yet to clear. You sit atop the glass mountain. Before the leaked energy melted and evaporated, this was once the corner of a desert. Your modified body creaks and hums as you slowly adjust its reading. It then begins to absorb the remaining radioactive particles from the air and organizing them into blazing colorful crystals. On natural day number 27,349, the pollution of the third planet of the Cuvida Nebula has still yet to clear. You planted a seed that has still yet to bloom. They mock you, saying that your efforts are pointless and that your home planet is now no more than a giant graveyard, doomed to never see life again. You turn the soil, and apply a potion that accelerates the decay process. You walk every inch of this land in silence until the day that life returns to this planet. Planetary Purifier seems a little bit like the person that's talked about in the Architects that had to go away from their planet is going back to it. And he's trying his best to purify it and make it livable again so then they can do the whole Ecological Administrator thing of rebuilding everything. Still 27,000 days to try and clear the pollution, and the seed's still not yet blooming is kind of a sad thing. The next story is Civilization Correspondent. If there is one thing that should be despised by you, it is the barbaric concept that the weak are no more than prey to the strong. No matter how great a civilization may be, if their knowledge cannot reach the great heights of the sun in the sky, then it's doomed to be reduced to no more than a vassal. In the eyes of the IPC and other great forces, these nascent life forms are no more than cheap labor at the location of raw material extraction. You bring knowledge to the stars and attempt to force this knowledge on its inhabitants, letting these children suckle on wisdom as much as they want. From savage hunting to taking to outer space, the wheels of civilization are moving too fast to be stopped now. Much like a babbling child learns to run after sunset, a dormant eagle that just breaks out of its shell takes flight immediately after its first call. In a generation where danger lies at every turn, the only way to ensure the safety of your civilization is to run forward at all costs. This feels a little bit like what happened in the story of Boot Hill, where they force the people that live there to work for them or die, where they take all of the resources that are on the planet away from the civilization that's maybe a little bit behind. The next story is Tombkeeper. A cluster of silver frigates glides through the infinite darkness, their holographic cabins illuminated by the pale earth beneath your feet. That place contains a collection of defunct computers, and cities long paralyzed lie smothered in moss and grass. You have no idea what secrets are buried beneath the rubble, only that it remains your duty to guard it. The rebels of the clan depart in foul words, venturing into the vast expanse of interstellar space. You yearn to leave as well, but the accusing eyes of your kin weigh heavily on you. You cannot betray your education, your family, or the primitive logic etched into your brain chip. Instead, you relinquish your physical form, merging your cerebral neurons with the fleet, just as the kindred who created you once did. You will guard the dead city for eternity, yet you no longer question for whom you protect this tomb. Tombkeeper is like... maybe it's protecting it so the Ecological Administrator or people like him could come back to actually fix everything. The next story is Sentimental Guardian. The Wrath King's judgment extends across every inch of land illuminated by the stars, with the law of anthropic restriction killing off song, dance, and poetry. He declared that words that evoke smiles usurp the authority of the emperor, and carefree citizens desecrate the crown. In the stifling winds, warmth no longer lingers, and under the oppressive night sky, even the insects dare not chirp in unison. You will rise up, embodying passion, and speak words of madness before the army. Bearing the burden of thorns, you will protect the books filled with stories and return fairy tales to the world. Steel-forged slaughterers cannot kill laughter, and even billions of mechanical swarm cannot suppress dreams of bliss. Dragging your blood-soaked body, you march into the iron jungle, setting fire to the absurd degrees. You are the stolid warrior, but you have sworn to defend the people's right to laughter. As I said before, it seems to be about protecting everything, the preservation of something. The last story in the next one is Heartless Giant. You feel a phantom pain. Your decaying legs are long gone. The screws bearing the emblem of the architects and the impenetrable giant shield were disassembled piece by piece and sold to the IPC as relics of preservation. You traded away the crystal oscillator. That was your ears, etched with scars from wartime. You parted with the fused alloy arms, the corrosion from Sarm blood still visible. You even took off the crystal sensors and sold that to them. Your most proud eyes that once gazed at the Ember Lord, but it's still not enough. Not by a long shot. Hunger and poverty are far worse than the calicerae of arthropods. So you made a deal, sacrificing the architect's mechanical heart, and in return the people of this land will never weep from hunger again. Something brushes against your face, perhaps a bird? Or maybe the sound of people's joyful laughter. This reminds me a little bit of an old movie I used to watch when I was a child. There was this movie about a child that found this massive giant, and this giant was friendly to the kid, protecting the kids. The extrapolation rewind. Sleep. That is what organic organisms call it. A break in the continuity of consciousness. It could also be seen as a form of death. That's right. You are a ceaseless giant. Just another of the countless machines left behind by the architects. But you can currently sense your own existence. Your gigantic body has concentrated heat sources distributed across it. You were once the size of a mountain range, and now you are even vaster. I am a world, a dream, or a ghost. A world. You open your eyes. A great nebula disperses in front of your eyes like clouds over a vast ocean as starlight hits your sensors. No matter where you cast your gaze, all you can see is an endless sea of stars. Hey, could it be that you're space trash floating around in the universe? You desperately want to know where the people you once protected have gone to. You even sacrificed your last mechanical heart to buy back their smiles. How long has it passed? They have all left, or they all disappeared. How long has passed? You big idiot, look in here! You hear a call resound deep in your circuits, which irritates you slightly, but brings a greater sense of relief. You cast your gaze inside yourself, and atop a shining sphere of light stands a great city. In this city, tiny organic organisms wave back at you. You finally understand what has happened. The entire planet and all of their laughter are now inside your body. They have become your heart and eyes, and formed a new mission for this machine. I succeeded, or they all survived. They all survived. In the ancient past, you gave them a heart. Now, they have given you a star. It's kind of nice, though, that he sacrificed everything for them, and they gave back to him to make him also happy, to give him a reason to stay, a reason to function. That was the last one of Preservation. So far, we have read 4. I will be continuing with reading these. I unlocked another Nihility option. I've been trying to farm it a little bit, but sadly it's not going as well. At least I've got most of them on 14 or 13. The Abundance one, sadly, because I don't really use a lot of Abundance characters. I also didn't have much need to actually choose them. I've been trying to choose all of the equations to expand them so I unlock more of it, but I've not had any luck yet. Either way, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have anything that you would like me to read, please leave it in the comments. If you have any suggestions for me, please do so as well. I know it's annoying that I keep asking for likes, but it does help other people to see these. So thank you for being here. Have a nice day. Have a nice morning, night, or evening. I hope you guys enjoyed what you heard about the Preservation Operation Records. See you guys next time.